Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to Roger's Reflections on Tuesday, October 13th in the year 2020. Thank you for being here and being a part of this effort. Pray that these reflections are a blessing to you, and always feel free to pass them on, to share them with whoever you think would be blessed by them. Today I'm going to be reading from the 12th chapter of the book of Romans. Excuse me. The 12th chapter, there at the very beginning, verses 1 and 2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So Paul is writing to a church in Romans that he has not met. Others went to the church and others created the church, but he has become kind of a spiritual mentor. And so he is writing to them, and he obviously knows, he's been a pastor for a while, he knows people, he knows the struggles they're going in. And so I love Romans because he is writing both to a church then and to Christians who have believed down through the centuries. And so he is writing to us as well. He says, I appeal to you, brothers and sisters, to present yourselves, your bodies, as a living sacrifice to God, holy and acceptable, which is your spiritual worship. And so this is our response to our salvation. This is our response to Jesus' sacrifice. This is our response to God's love, to God, what he has already done. So he is asking us, he is inviting us to present ourselves, present our whole selves to God as our spiritual worship. To present ourselves, whatever is holy, whatever is acceptable, present that to God as our sacrifice, as our gift to him in response to what he has done for us. He says, and do not be conformed to this world. He says, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, he is not discounting the renewing of our heart, the renewing of our soul, the renewing of our body, but he understands the power of the renewal of our mind. And so in order to prepare ourselves, in order to truly give God what is holy and acceptable, he says, renew your mind, renew yourself by the transformation of your mind. In other words, spend time studying God's word, spend time talking with people about spiritual things, spend time listening to worship, and interacting with the message within yourself as you hear it, as you write it down, as you take notes. Go back over, pray over it, see if what you remember from what is being said, and how does that apply to you. These things are helpful and necessary for us as we grow. He says, do not be conformed to this world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Okay, as we renew our minds, we are able to see more of God's will. We are able to see what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. God's word was written to renew our minds, and our minds are renewed so that we can truly understand what is the will of God, what is good and holy and acceptable and perfect. So spend that time studying his word. Allow his word to sit in and marinate in your heart and your mind and your soul, so that you can truly discern. As you grow in faith, as you grow in knowledge, as you grow in wisdom, you will grow in your ability to understand and to diagnose and to detail God's will and purpose for your life. I hope this has been helpful, my friends. We'll talk to you tomorrow.